So what's going on, guys? It is JM, it is speedboxing. Make sure you guys subscribe to this channel before you click on to any of the videos. Also comment below in the comment section if you guys have any opinions on what I'm saying in any of the videos. Like always, it is appreciated if you guys could drop me a quick sub or two on my channel. So this is a prediction for the George Groves Jamie Cox fight this weekend for George Groves' WBA super middleweight title. This is George Groves' first defense because he only won the title back in May against Fedor Chudinov, and it is also a quarter-final in the World Boxing Super Series. And this is a very interesting fight because George Groves picked Jamie Cox for this fight in the tournament draw, and a lot of people felt that that was a bit of a weird move from George Groves because they know that Jamie Cox is an aggressive fighter, he can be dangerous, but George Groves says that he's sparred Jamie Cox in the past and that he knows Jamie Cox and he knows what Jamie Cox is going to bring to the table. So it's going to be very interesting in this fight. Jamie Cox is 24-0 with 13 knockouts, and I know his record doesn't suggest he is a big puncher because he's only got 13 knockouts in 24 victories, but I think that's because Jamie Cox isn't a prolific puncher. He isn't the most accurate puncher, and what I mean by a prolific puncher is somebody like a Mike Tyson or a Gennady Golovkin. Like, these guys went on a run with knockouts, knocking guys out left, right, and centre. Whereas Jamie Cox, he does have power like the big punchers of the past, but he isn't the most consistent puncher. He can't always find that big shot to take his opponent out, you know what I mean? And hopefully he'll be trying to get it this Saturday night against George Groves, and he'll be thinking he needs to land that big shot against George Groves, because in terms of boxing ability, I think George Groves is the better boxer. He's got the more technical skills in there, and I see Jamie Cox being reckless in there, and I think George Groves has the boxing IQ and the timing and the speed to be able to counter Jamie Cox, and George Groves has power as well. George Groves is probably one of the biggest punching super middleweights in the world. When he lands clean on you, George Groves can hurt a lot of super middleweights. Like we saw it, he dropped Carl Froch, and Carl Froch had a granite chin, and George Groves wanted to drop it in the first round. So yeah, it could be very interesting, this fight, but I'm thinking George Groves just has too much skill for somebody like Jamie Cox. I think if Jamie Cox just comes in reckless, then George Groves is just going to be counter punching him all night long. I see George Groves moving around a little bit in the ring, using movement to try and evade Jamie Cox, but eventually I see George Groves getting into a bit of a fight, and I think that's what Jamie Cox wants. He wants to lure George Groves into a bit of a fight because that's his territory then, and then he has more opportunities to land on George Groves, because if the fight's fought on the outside, then George Groves can just pick Jamie Cox off all night with a jab, and then Jamie Cox won't be able to get in and land his big power punchers. So yeah, I see George Groves winning this fight on Saturday night, either by late stoppage or wide on points. Depends how tough Jamie Cox is, really, how his chin holds up against George Groves' power, because if it can't, then I see George Groves taking him out in the later rounds, the mid to late rounds. But if he shows that he's got a good chin and he toughs it out, then I see George Groves winning on points. But don't get me wrong, Jamie Cox has a puncher's chance. If he lands clean on George Groves, then George Groves could be in trouble, because George Groves hasn't got the best chin. He's displayed that a few times in his career. He's been hurt and down a couple of times, numerous times, George Groves in his career. So yeah, very interesting matchup, but I'm predicting George Groves to win the fight by late stoppage. I'm going to go with a late stoppage, fuck it. Yeah, George Groves by late stoppage. Comment below in the comment section, what do you guys predict for this fight? Do you think Jamie Cox can pull it off, the upset? Because a lot of people are expecting this fight to be a foregone conclusion, that George Groves is going to win and go on to fight Eubank Jr. in the semi-finals, and that be a big fight. But obviously Jamie Cox is here to try and upset the apple cart. But I just think George Groves just has too much boxing IQ and too much skill for Jamie Cox, and I think he'll be able to use that against him on Saturday night. So yeah, that's my prediction. Comment below in the comment section yours. It's JM, it's Speedboxing.